So the webinar is for the Cambridge C1 Advanced exam. So I'm Julia. Thank you so much for coming. So this is going to be a 30-minute webinar, so really just a short one. I'm going to pack as much information as possible into the time that we have. It is being recorded, so I imagine that many of you are watching this as a recording. So hello if you're watching this as a recording. For those of you that are in the room, this is meeting format, so you have your cameras and your microphones turned off at the moment, but of course when I open up for questions, feel free to unmute yourself or put yourself on camera and ask me anything you like. All right, so let's get started. Okay, first, so before I go into what I'm going to talk about on this webinar, so for those of you that are in the room, can you open your chats for me? And can you just give me a yes, a Y for yes, or an N for no? Can you hear me clearly? The audio is okay, and you can see the screen, and you can see me clearly. Yay! Thank you so much. So I've got a yes from, thank you. Great. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, time is valuable for us all, so I am going to keep this to 30 minutes, as much as I can. Questions may go over, but the main presentation will be done within the 30 minutes. Okay, so in this webinar, I'm going to talk about, obviously, I'm hoping that you all know you're here to talk about the Cambridge C1 Advanced exam. So I'm going to talk all about this exam, and I'm going to talk about who the exam is for, who it's designed for. I'm going to talk about the leveling as well. So perhaps if you're new to the leveling, the concept of C1, what is C1, what is advanced level? I will explain a little more about leveling. Excuse me. I'm going to explain how the exam works, what the format is, what it looks like, how you can apply to take it, and what you can expect in it as well, what activities you will have, how long it will take to do. I'll also tell you how to prepare for it, so some tips about if you're thinking to prepare for it, you feel that you're ready, then some tips what to think of first, what to do first. And we have a new course at the C1 Advanced Academy. So this is my brand new academy, and we have a preparation course, brand new. So if you are feeling that you're ready to prepare, then stick around till the end to hear about the new course. If you're here just because you're a bit curious, you want to know a little bit more about the exam, then great, I'm going to give you tons of information that will really help you make the decision if you maybe want to take the exam in the future, or if you want to start thinking about the exam. So all the information is here, even if you're not quite ready to prepare for it. But if you're here because you're feeling ready to prepare for it and you want to know what your next steps are, then great, stick around and I'll tell you about the new course that's coming up. And as I promised, there's time at the end for questions. So I do have a question for you guys very quickly. If you just in the chat, open up your chat for me and just let me know what's brought you to this webinar today. I'd love to know what it was that made you decide to come to this webinar. Do you know about this exam already and you just want to know what are your next steps, how to prepare for it? Maybe you didn't hear about this exam before, but you're curious to know a little bit more about it. Great. Thanks, Nicole. Pop it in the chat. So yeah, just let me know in the chat. Just gives me a little idea just to make sure that I cover what you need to know as well. So, and again, if there's things that I don't cover or we don't have time to answer your question at the end, you can email me at any time. So I'm going to give you my email address as well. Okay, great. So let's So do subscribe to the C1 Advanced Academy if you want to stay updated with courses and offers. So jump onto the site. It's just one page. It's just a form to fill in. That comes straight to me, and I will keep you updated with any courses or newsletters that we have as well. So, and also you'll get my email address shortly, and you can email me directly. A lot of you I know are here from LinkedIn as well. So I've already talked to a number of you in LinkedIn. So you know you can direct message me anytime as well in LinkedIn. All right, so first things first, I've gone the wrong way. There we go. Who is this exam for? If you're here watching this webinar because you know there's so many English exams out there in the world, and really there are hundreds, if not thousands, of English exams, and each one has, you know, a specific like a specific aim, for example. So some of you might be familiar with IELTS or TOEFL, which are academic English exams used to get into university. Many countries have their own exams as well. There's certain school exams. So who is this exam for? The C1 Advanced exam. If you don't know much about it, let's start there. Who is it for? Okay, so is this you? What are your reasons for taking the exam? So this is generally what I find with my students. Okay, so for example, you've spoken English for years, you use it on a regular basis in your job or your daily life, and you know that to get ahead in today's professional international industry, basic English skills aren't enough. You need excellent skills. And that's your aim for the exam, that you're thinking, okay, well, it'd be great to have certification. I know that this looks good on my CV. And of course, for the next one, perhaps you have an advanced level of English already. And you know that recruiters and employers don't believe self-certification on LinkedIn. And I can tell you that for a fact, because I actually teach a number of recruiters and employers who say that when they look at the self-certification on LinkedIn, they don't really believe it. So they actually look for proof. So they look for proof of high-level English. Okay, they look for certificates, and sometimes they even ask for it. So we're getting to that stage now. Or perhaps you've studied advanced level English previously, but maybe you haven't used it for a while. And you're thinking, oh, you want to refresh your memory, you want to remember what advanced level even is, you want to start using it again, but you want to study in a structured way to maximize what you know, and of course get a certificate at the end of it. I found a lot of my students as well have resonated a bit more with number 3. And of course, number 4, so this exam is a huge exam, highly accredited. You are hoping to live in an English-speaking country, and they have asked for the exam for your visa application, or you would like to take a university course, degree, or master's, and they require a C1 certification. So generally, I find that these are more or less the right people to take this exam. So let me know which one resonates most with you. Is it a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? Head back, so 1 or 2. Let me know in the chat which one resonates the most with you. Thanks, Yvonne. A 3, 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. 4, thanks, Nicole. Great. 4, thanks, Aika. 4 as well, Teresa, 1 as well. Great, thanks guys, that gives me a really good idea. So that makes me feel that you're in the right place as well. So this is generally what I find in the students that I've taught this exam to over the years. All right, a little bit about how the exam can help your career. Again, if you're not sure about the exam, you haven't heard much about it before, maybe you know all about the exam and you know all of this. So the advanced exam, it does prove that you have an excellent level of English. This is a very high level of English. It proves that you can communicate accurately and fluently in the majority of situations and contexts. It is accepted in the majority of universities worldwide, 100% of UK universities, for master's programs as well. So those of you that are familiar with the IELTS, for example, you don't necessarily need to have the IELTS these days. So the C1 is now much more accepted. Okay, and for from a professional side of things, it does demonstrate the ability to participate in meetings, presentations, and conferences all those kind of really kind of high level professional contexts that you might find yourself in. And of course, opens up career promotions, job opportunities, travel opportunities. The amount of students I've had that once they got this exam were inundated with interview requests, new promotions, business trips they were asked to go on. So it really does help open up a lot of opportunities. And of course, the exam itself is a great exam. I particularly love teaching this exam for reasons I will go into. So it helps you develop a full understanding of different styles, formal, informal, and of course, when to use them. So it's natural English. It is issued by the University of Cambridge. So you do get a University of Cambridge certificate, which is of course a credible and respected certification. And finally, it never expires. You have it forever. Unlike some exams, particularly the IELTS, which runs out after 2 years, the C1 exam never expires. You'll have it forever. Once you have it, you never need to retake it. So, however, just as a side note, if you are applying to universities, they do generally like to have that you've done it within the last couple of years. But again, that's not super strict, so it doesn't actually run out. Okay, a little about me. I'm pretty sure that most of you have gone onto my LinkedIn profile and had a look who I am. So I don't want to spend too long on this. I don't like talking too much about myself anyway, but I do have a little slide. There we go, loads of information on there. So I've been teaching the Cambridge exams for 15 years in various countries. I've also designed and delivered courses for literally thousands of students and teachers. So not just in language schools, but also online, where I've created courses for online platforms that have been used by tutors and their students. So I am an examiner for the Cambridge exam as well. I certified with Cambridge in 2017. So, and have assessed many, many, many candidates since then. So I have 100% pass rate. This is the absolute truth. I have 100% pass rate for my preparation course students. So any student that comes on a preparation course, there is 100% pass rate in this. And this is because I know exactly how to train them. I know exactly what the examiners are listening for, what they are assessing on. I'm able to give my students that viewpoint of understanding, having that awareness of their language, an examiner awareness, which is of course invaluable. And also mainly because I can assess whether a student is ready for the exam as well. So you will get complete honesty. Complete honesty is the most essential part of what I do. If someone is not ready for the exam, then it's very important that they know that. Okay, so I started the C1 Advanced Academy as a way. I have dreamed about having an online school for many, many years. Working in language schools, I've managed language schools, and I envisioned the future many years ago. I thought, wouldn't it be great to just have an online school and I can just connect with students that in all the different countries, and that would be fantastic. But the world wasn't ready a few years ago when I had my idea and my dream, and I feel that it is now. All right, so that's about me. I'm going to move on. I am going to move on very quickly because I do want to be really conscious of time. Okay, so I did have a little timer going on here as well. There we go. Okay, so understanding, we're going to go into understanding the leveling of this exam. So what do all these levels mean? And this is particularly for those of you who are coming into this webinar and you're new to the exam, you're new to this system. Okay. So if you have a look here, I'll use my little pointer. So here we've got our CEFRA level, Common European Framework of Reference. This is where we start at A1, moving up through the levels. And C2 is generally considered, or LinkedIn, let's just say, considers native or bilingual proficiency. Okay. So these are sort of my general descriptions, and these are the Cambridge exams that relate to these as well. So just as a note, C2, it is absolute mastery of the language for sure. However, as a native speaker, I can tell you that we don't really use language much higher than C1 on a daily basis. Once you have the C1 level, you actually have the ability to articulate yourself, to express yourself, to use English in unfamiliar situations, and pretty much in any context. course, many of us know C2 level, but we don't use it that often. So just a little note, I've had a lot of students that aspired to C2, or a lot of students that came to me having studied C2. And particularly the ones that have studied at C2 kind of came to me and they didn't know how to have a natural conversation. And I had to actually bring them down to using more C1 level, particularly informal language. And again, that's what I particularly like about the Cambridge exams, because it teaches you natural and informal language as well. If you're not sure about your level, please email me. I'm very happy to do some level assessments with you. So I'm very, very happy to do that. It takes 10, 15 minutes. So if you're not sure whereabouts you are and you'd like a level assessment, please email me and we can organize that. Okay, so I do get asked this, so I just thought I'd include a slide. So I often get asked this, what grammar do I need? What grammar do I need at advanced level? And believe me, it's a lot. Okay, this is just a few examples. If you're really not clear, please go have a look for a C1 book, an advanced level book, and go like dive into all the grammar. But certainly from an examiner's point of view, things that I'm listening out for when I'm assessing candidates, particularly in the speaking, I'm listening out for accuracy and fluency in all the tenses, past, future, conditionals, passive. Things like inversions for adding emphasis, discourse linkers, phrasal verbs, particularly a huge range of phrasal verbs, a good solid understanding of the difference between formal and informal, common idioms. And when I say common idioms, I mean ones we actually use. There's a difference between lots of those that you can find online, and you can get tons of idioms, a list of idioms to learn, 10 great idioms, but they may not be ones we actually use. There are some very common idioms that we would more likely use than the actual verbs sometimes. So what are the common idioms? What are the natural ones that we use? And things like modals of speculation and deduction, making sure these are just some of a few examples. Okay, again, feel free to email me for a level assessment. Okay, what to expect in the exam? How am I for time? Okay, so the whole exam takes approximately 4 hours. And the speaking can be on a different day. It could be on the same day. You do it separately. It could be a few days before, a few days after. But altogether, the whole exam takes just 4 hours. Okay, there are test centers in the majority of cities and countries. Probably about 3,000, I would say, test centers in the world. So if you're in a small town or village, one of the closer cities may well have a test center. This is easy to find. Again, if you're not sure where your test center is, you can email me and I will find your local test center for you. You have 2 choices for the exam, and this is quite critical. Actually, it's quite an essential choice to make. So you can do computer-based, okay, meaning you write everything, you do all your answers, everything is on the computer, everything is digital, or you can do a paper-based, okay, which is obviously your handwriting. Now, this is purely down to preference, your preference. Do you prefer to handwrite everything? I've had a number of students that just much prefer to handwrite all their essays and all their writing, or do you prefer to type? It's that simple, okay, and you make your choice accordingly. Check with your test center. Generally, there are exams every month, and quite often more than one. So 2 exams, 3 exams, a choice of computer-based or paper-based. Okay, so again, if you're not sure, please email me and I'm happy to help you find a test center and the next recommended date. Okay, a little bit about what to expect in the exam. So there are 4 parts to this exam. Listening, 40 minutes. You have things like interviews, radio broadcasts, everyday conversations. Again, a huge range of context, of real world context that you would find, that you would experience or you would use English in. Reading and use of English. So you have your reading passages and use of English tests on your grammar and vocabulary. And again, different types of context. Okay, writing, 1 hour and 30 minutes, 2 pieces of writing. The essay is compulsory. That's your task 1. And the second writing task is a choice. And there's just a few varieties of writing. It could be a proposal, a report, a review, a letter, or an email. So you can study for this. It's not predictable, but there are just limited options of what you might be able to write, which is good. So it's easier to prepare for. And speaking is about 15 minutes. You will be doing your speaking with 1 or 2 other candidates, and you are assessed there on your interaction as much as your ability to produce the language. If you want any sample papers, and again, email me. You're very welcome to send me a message, ask me for some sample papers so you can give the exam a go or just have a look. Okay. So what the exam assesses, and again, I've said this already, but this is the reason I like this exam, and I really want to focus on teaching this exam. Of all the exams I've taught in the last 15 years, this is the one I really enjoy, because it assesses the English actually used in the real world. So all the language you will study for the C1 advanced exam, it is the English that native speakers use on a daily basis. It is the English that you'll see on the internet. It is the English that you'll hear in TV shows. Okay, so it assesses not only on your grammar and vocabulary, but on your natural English, your communication skills, your interactive skills. So I like to think of it as real English in real context, styles and registers. And there is a big focus on your formal and informal language, making sure you know the difference between the registers as well and different styles, appropriate language for different styles. Okay, little tips on how to prepare. So if you're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I'm C1 level, I think I could be ready. First of all, if you are thinking to prepare for the exam, please give yourself enough time. Okay, you do need time to prepare. Even native speakers need time to prepare. You need to learn the techniques, you need to learn the timings, you need to learn what you need to do for the writing. And the speaking is very structured as well. It can be very easy to give basic answers in the speaking. It's about training your mind to give higher level, more complex structures. Okay, so give yourself enough time and be realistic. Is this going to take you a couple of months, or will you need a little bit more time? Do make sure to have structure and a deadline. Decide when you're going to do the exam, and then set a habit, make it regular study. Okay, do find a good course book. There are some great course books that you can get. You can easily buy them on Amazon, on Kindle, in the bookstores. I shouldn't forget about the bookstores. So you can easily find a good course book. Again, please email me. I have some recommendations. Find a good course. There are good courses out there. Or a qualified tutor. Please check that your tutor knows this exam well and has taught this exam before. And most importantly, actually find people to study with. You are being assessed on your communication skills and your interactivity, so please make sure you practice these. I really never recommend learning a language or studying for an exam like this in isolation, really. Again, language is for communication. That's the point of language, right? So learning it alone just seems like you're not maximizing what you could be doing if you were studying with other people. So do find other people to study with. And it's also one of the reasons I like to do group classes. So the C1 Advanced Academy is for group classes, simply because, again, you're assessed on your interactivity. It is essential that you interact, that you practice talking with other people, you learn how to have that natural communication. So studying alone, you can do it, yes, and there's some you have to self-study, but do find some people to take the journey with you and to practice with. And of course, read and listen to as much real world English as possible, articles and TED Talks. And this one, challenge yourself, especially if you use English every day. Challenge yourself not to use basic language. It's the first thing I get my students to do. So no goods, no bads, no happy or sad, no I like or I think, none of this basic language. Challenge yourself to do higher level, more complex structures as much as possible. So again, if I hear this language in the exam, if I'm assessing a candidate and I hear this, you know, they're not maximizing, they're not demonstrating their advanced level. Okay, please remember there are no secret tricks, no magic formulas, and no quick fixes. Please do not believe anybody that tells you that there are, because there are not. It is an exam. It is a high-level exam. It is a respect accreditation, and you need to study for it. It's that simple. What there are strategies and effective training techniques to maximize your learning. Okay, if you're dedicated, you can do it. All right, brilliant. So I'm going to quickly tell you about my new course. So for those of you that are here and you're actually interested in the next steps, you feel like you're ready to prepare, I do have a new course if you are interested. Now, this is our first course for the C1 Advanced Academy. So I'm offering it as a kind of a trial course. So we're going to do a big course launch in September. So this is limited spaces. This is just 10 spaces. I only want 10 people on this course. It's an 8-week course with blended learning, 1 live online class per week. We will provide all the materials. So this is for, if you're prepared, you feel you're ready to start preparing for the course, meet with me. We'll have a level assessment. That's the first thing we'll do is I'll have an interview with you. If you're interested, I'll give a level assessment and we'll talk about if you're absolutely ready for this course. Okay, so I'll be teaching you lots of effective strategies and techniques. You'll be part of a learning community as well. And of course, I'll give you a mock exam and you get feedback from me as well. So you'll get feedback on your writing, you get feedback from your speaking as well. So it's 50% off because this is our first one. And I'm doing that because what I would like would be constant feedback, ongoing feedback for the course. So you give me feedback, let me know how you're getting on, what you're enjoying, what's working really well for you, or maybe something you'd like to change, and testimonials at the end of it. So there is 50% off if you are interested in being one of those 10 people, which would be amazing. So please just, if you are interested, please just email me. My email address is just down at the bottom. All right. Right, that coming up to the end. Okay. I packed a lot of information into that. So we've got a couple of minutes left and I am going to open out to questions. So you can stay updated as well if you want to. We do have a big course launch in September. So if you're keen to maybe be on the wait list for that as well, or to be the first to know when that comes up, please just subscribe at the C1 Advanced Academy or email me, of course. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, this is it. So like I said, I've packed in a lot of information there, but I'm sure maybe some of you do have some questions. If so, you're very welcome to unmute yourself if you'd like to ask your question, or you can ask it in the chat. I can see one question already. Course books. Oh, good. Course books that I suggest. That's a good one. So there's one I particularly like is Complete Advanced. In fact, that's definitely the one that I would go to. That's the one that I use the most. I've used the most over the years. So if you're looking for a good course book, I would take that one. I hope that answers your question. Great. Any other questions? Ah, you're welcome. Anyone's welcome to unmute or pop in the chat, or if you've got no questions, let me know in the chat and just say, nope, you've answered everything. Great. Oh, thanks, Rocky. That's great. Thanks, Nicole. Wow, amazing. So it looks like I may have answered all questions. Again, please, if you do have questions, thank you so much for attending today. And if you do have any questions, anything comes to mind, or you'd like more information about anything, please email me at julia@c1advancedacademy.com and I will get straight back to you, Ivan. Great, yes, please. If you want to know more about your level as well, please email me. I'm very happy to do a level assessment with you as well. No problem whatsoever. Great. Okay, well, we'll finish there. Thank you so much to everyone that participated today. It's been lovely to have you here, and to those of you that are watching the recording as well. So I look forward to hearing from as many of you as possible. Thank you so much. That's it. I promised 30 minutes, and I think we just did it. Brilliant. Thank you. All right, so I shall stop this share. There we go. All right, so I'll say good night for now, and I hope to hear from all of you or see you all on another webinar again soon. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.